I would like to warmly welcome all our participants to the webinar series 2021. So this webinar series is organized by the CINEC Student Research Symposium Committee, leading to the CINEC Student Research Symposium 2020. Today, our first webinar is going to be held, and the topic is writing a successful research abstract. Our resource person today is Dr. C.P. Atapattu, current head of Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo, who's having a vast experience of dealing these type of webinars among undergraduates as well as postgraduates, and enhance their knowledge as well as skills in terms of doing academic work, especially in terms of research work. So a main purpose of today's topic, if I explain, as you know, in academic work that we are doing as a part of a partial fulfillment of our degree, the main purpose is to give a good implications in terms of theoretical as well as practical for the readers who are reading this. Therefore, one of the main part of this academic piece of work is the abstract, because abstract is some kind of a snapshot which gives the reader the summary of the entire piece of work that the particular academic has been performed over a number of months, maybe over a number of years. So then the abstract plays a vital role in terms of a study. So we thought of giving some kind of idea for our students, at the same time for our audience, regarding how to write a successful abstract based on the study that you have been performed over a number of months. That's really important because it's a precise summary of the work that you have been performed over a number of months, over a number of years. So then it should be attractive, it should be comprehensive, at the same time it should be analytical and provide whatever the required findings to the minds of the reader in few minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite Dr. C.P. Atapattu, Head of Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo, to start his proceedings regarding writing a successful research abstract. Okay, over to you, Dr. Atapattu. You can start your session. Thanks.
Okay, very good day for all of you. Thank you very much for Amila Chittaka for the kind introduction about myself. I believe that you can hear me. I'm going to start writing a successful research abstract. Because abstract, as Chittaka said at the very beginning in the introduction, this is a summary. There are some guidelines, some important points you have to follow when you are writing research abstract. Research abstract, it can be classified as abstract plus executive abstract or extended abstract. Now, step by step, I'm going to explain all these. When you are taking a research, let's take an article. When you are taking an article, it consists of these 3 pages. There are 3 parts. First part is the title of the study, and the author or authors. If you are going to present a combined paper, collaborative with other researchers, author or authors, abstract and keywords. Today we are going to discuss with regard to the abstract, this part one, that is the phase one, part one. But not only that, we want to go for the extended abstract as well. Part two of the article, main text, that is the second one, it consists of introduction. Introduction consists of the literature review as well, methods, that's your research methodology, results and discussions. Whatever your analytical techniques you are applying, based on those, you want to take the results and interpret that results. That results can be linked with the previous discussion and your conclusion. As the conclusion, you need to provide your suggestions, because you take the decision based on your analysis, then you need to provide your recommendation or the suggestions, because these suggestions will be applied, that is the implication in the business or in your academic purpose. Part three is the reference and some sort of materials you can provide as a supplementary materials. Those are the appendix. That is the structure of the generally in article. Now here we are taking the first part, abstract, moving what it is. These key words you want to understand when you are writing an abstract. Abstract is a summary. Totally you are having a project. It may be thesis. Thesis mean in master level, dissertation in undergraduate level, or journal articles. When you are writing summary, that is the abstract summary. We explain that this abstract is the abstract we can consider as the advertisement of your total research. That's why this abstract is very important. When you are writing your abstract, write clearly before the in your okay, right? Yeah, please. Yeah, you have to switch off your mic because I can hear. Okay. Summary, that is the abstract of your journal, article, project, thesis, dissertations. When you write a summary abstract, at the very beginning, you need to write that abstract. Why? Because any researcher is trying to read the abstract before reading the rest of your article. Beginning, we are reading the abstract. Yeah, at the beginning you write. When you write your abstract, write it to make the enthusiasm of the researchers to read your full document. If you have written that abstract correctly, it is a plus point for you to increase your citation. Therefore, I will guide how to write the abstract. Words when you are including 150 to 300, it depends on the organizers. You want to follow the guidance given by the organizers as well, or the research publishers. Normally, we say 150 to 300 words. And in the abstract, don't include the reference. No need to include reference. No need to include citations, quotation. If you have quote a particular statement from another researcher, no need to include those quotations in your abstract. Don't provide tables. Don't provide the graphical presentation figures. You can present all this in extended abstract. No need to provide this. Right. This is the basic introduction to the abstract. Now I discuss why abstract is important. First one, as I mentioned, that is the advertisement. Because your paper can be advertised correctly if you have written your abstract well. Properly you need to write. That's why we say abstract is the advertisement of our research. And also for the publishers, the journal articles, journals, they are the owners, they are the publishers. The publishers can determine this research paper should be sent to a particular person for the review, because peer review articles, you have us peer review. If it is, the publishers have to determine this paper should be sent to whom to review. Therefore, it is a plus point for the publishers to determine this is a research paper that should be sent to a particular person who is specialized in this field. Again, reviewers. Important for the reviewers, because when the paper is sent to us, we initially read our abstract. After reading that abstract, we determine whether I should accept this for the review of the rest of the part or not. Therefore, for the reviewers also, the guidance are provided by the abstract. And the researchers. Sometimes researchers are citing your paper not because of reading full paper. They read your abstract. After reading your abstract, they cite you. So then there is a plus point for you. The citation of the paper will be increased. Therefore, there is a huge demand for you because of many citations. That's why we say, don't write your research abstract taking 2-3 hours. Write that research abstract by taking 2-3 days. It is important. Next one important for the universities, institute, libraries, etc. Why? No access for all the universities, institutes, and libraries to get the full paper. The paper should be paid, but abstract, it's all right. Therefore, if you have precisely written your research abstract, that is sufficient to cite you. So then, if the paper has not been written correctly, what would happen? Without reading the rest of your part, even though you have written your paper in high quality, the people are not willing to read that, because from the abstract, the researchers cannot understand what you have done. Therefore, important for all the abstract, writing that abstract precisely. This is the structure of abstract. You want to follow these guidelines, but the formatting it is all right according to the guidelines. These are the formats, Times New Romans, like that. It can be followed, but it is not the problem. The problem is that writing of this. A structure, when we take, first you want to write in your abstract why you did this study. Why you did this study means research problem is there. Clearly, when you are doing research, there should be a research problem. As an example, suppose in social research, there may be a problem, retention of employees. That is a problem. With the existing knowledge, if you cannot answer that problem, that is a research problem. That's why we say the academia and the students, if you are finding a research problem, ask 2 questions. Why? How? Why this happened? How this happened? If you cannot answer that, that is a research problem. Because result is, or the cause is not obvious. If the reason is obvious, no point of conducting that study. Therefore, why you did this study? Because there is a problem in ABC company. That's why you have started this. Or maybe in economic type, in economy. the economic growth. Always we are thinking that economic is declining. So why it happens? So in macro level, micro level, you can select your research problem. Second is how you did that project. How you did. It means that you need to explain your methodology correctly in the abstract. In the abstract, you want to say you are using this sample, this analytical techniques, right? Like that, the operationalization of variables like this. All this you want to explain. I'm having examples that you can understand. Next one, after the analysis, what are the results you need to provide? By using your analytical techniques, you test your hypothesis, you address your objectives. Those results you want to provide. Then the brief conclusion, that is, you are providing the implication. This is my recommendation. According to the previous studies, my result will agree or disagree. No problem. That is the discussion. All these you provide brief conclusion. So these four you want to include, but further I explain. Right. Avoid in writing abstract. Some mistakes you are doing when you are writing abstract. First one, you are going to introduce your topic in the abstract. Don't do that. You can take introduction of that topic in the introduction part. When you are writing your article, you are writing. For extended abstract, you can write your topic, introduction of the topic. Then don't include data. No need to provide the data in abstract because that is 200 or 150 to 300 or 250 size of the words. Therefore, you want to include important points. Don't include data. No need to write footnotes, citations, no quotations, as I mentioned before. If you have quoted from another researcher, you can include that in your literature part, but no need to include in abstract part. And don't include the abbreviation and symbols as well, because abbreviation, we say GDP in macro. So then we write gross domestic production. For some acronyms you are using, but you have to explain in abstract because we provide that abstract based on that the scholars can understand what you have done. Therefore, acronyms don't include, write it correctly in details. Don't avoid ambiguous words because readers, if they are unable to understand what this term is, that is a problem. Complex grammars, when you are using, it is difficult to understand. Then what happened? Your paper may be started by a researcher or a scholar, but at the beginning of reading that abstract, that person is not going to read the rest of the work. But you have done perfectly, but unfortunately, because of these ambiguous, ununderstandable terms you are using, therefore clearly, precisely write your abstract. In your context or body of your study, you can write all these terms, but abstract, clearly write. Again, lengthy abstract, don't write. Sometimes it may be 2 pages, don't write. But within 1 page, no, half of a page. Within that, try to write clearly, precisely. You write what you have done, what is the methodology, what type of techniques you use, and what is the results. The implication is this. Next one is, don't start write your abstract if you have not completed your study. Because after the completion, if you have completed your study, you can start writing your abstract. No need to complete all these conclusion, recommendation of that. But if you have completed your study, then you can write because you know what you have done. Therefore, these are the things you want to follow. Avoid it, write in abstract. Right, next one, when you are writing your research abstract, you can follow like this. Before starting the abstract, include your title. In your research paper, top of the paper, research title you write. Research title when you write, normally APA format, or we use bold and the capital, that is the uppercase caps, and the center font size 14 normally we use, but according to the organizers of the research or the, that is conferences or the journals, they may be 16, there may be some researchers explain, some organizers 18, but it depends. But normally when you are writing, write with 14 font size presentation of your title. That's why you have adhering to the formatting requirements set by the conference organizers or the journal publishers. They will send some guidelines according to that page formatting. You can do within 1 hour, you can do, but if you have completed your study, then write, if one author, the name of the author and the affiliation, which university you are affiliated, University of Colombo or CINEC campus or another organization, include that. Or maybe a combined paper, then co-presenters there, 2 or 3 authors, their names, affiliations, emails you can provide as the contact details. Provide. Now all these you provide before starting your abstract. Right, as the emails, all this you can italic, no problem. Italic, you can do this. Then you start your abstract. As I mentioned before, start title and the authors and their affiliations and contact details, emails. Then write abstract. You need to cover these 5 boxes or these 5 headings. If you have covered, you have completed your study correctly. What these are, you need to keep in mind when you are writing. Now, context means with regard to your study, what is the existing knowledge that you are having? That is the context, existing knowledge with regard to your study. If you are doing any study with regard to the technology, with regard to the technology, what is the existing knowledge? Then that is context. You need to write. As an example, we know in social studies and management studies, financial and non-financial benefits, they are having positive association with the employees' performance. That is the context, the existing knowledge. Then that existing knowledge you have to take to study further. That is the second one, purpose. What is the purpose of doing your study? Because you are having a problem. Explain that research problem and include your objective here, purpose, when you are writing. There is a problem. In ABC company, there is a problem. Financial and non-financial benefits they are high, but employees retention is less. There is a problem. That is your research issue or research problem. So then to study that research problem, you are having research objectives. You include them. Then to address your research problem or research objectives, you are taking your methods, research methodology. Briefly write. Researchers are using correlation and regression analysis. Reliability and validity tests have been carried out. Like that, write your methodology. Sample, population. Like that, you have to explain briefly, because within this 250 or 300, you have to manage. Then provide, after the analysis, what is your finding? Finding means with the analysis, If you have applied correlation and regression, that results you have to explain here, but no need to provide the data. No need to provide the data. Explain what happened. What is your finding? Then based on that finding, the last one, significance, means that is the implication, your recommendation, to whom you provide the recommendation. It may be for the ABC company management. Management can use these factors should be handled to retain the employees. Like that, according to a specific field, you need to determine your significance. You provide practical implications. If it is an electronic device you develop, so then based on that, you can provide, this is the practical implication. It may be for the management or for the production, or maybe whatever the field you are providing the significance. Significance means that is the implication. Right, when you are writing that abstract, before I want to say further, this context, purpose, method, finding significance there, without taking this heading, if you write as a paragraph, that is the normally we write that paragraph. Without taking this heading, we write. If you are using heading, this context, that heading you use, under that you write existing knowledge. Purpose, that heading you take, after that you write the research problem and your objective. In the methods, you write your analytical technique, sample, population, data collection method, all these. Then finding the results, significance. Like that, taking these headings, if you have written, that is called the structured abstract. The structured abstract is taking this heading you are writing. Without taking this heading, same thing you write, but that is normally, in generally we write abstract, that is as a paragraph, one paragraph. Right, now see, context, existing knowledge. Opening sentence summarize the current state of knowledge. That's what I mentioned, existing knowledge you are going to discuss here. I have taken an example as well, then you can understand further. Right, what researchers already know with reference to literature review. That's why your supervisors are saying, go literature review to identify the existing knowledge and research gap. Research gap, it may be theoretical gap, it may be empirical gap, practical gap, or maybe some sort of implication, the gap, theoretical gap, practical gap, or that is the empirical gap, or maybe literature gap you can take. In the purpose you are writing, right, this is the problem. That's why here researchers don't know everything. I mentioned at the beginning, ask two terms or two questions, why or how. If you can answer why it happens, that is not a research problem. How it happens, it is not a research problem. Therefore, in quantitative research, basically we determine to understand research problem, that is the gap, theoretical gap, empirical gap, or literature gap. Why or how, these two words we try to ask. If you cannot answer, then you can determine, right, this is a research problem. Therefore, explain that research problem. And also include your gaps and also your objective. Which objective you are going to study here under the purpose. Then methods, no need to worry. Methods, that is your methodology. What you have written in your dissertation or thesis or research article, that is the methodology part. Include sample, population, all these. But you explain in word in abstract which methods you use. Correlation, regression, reliability, or maybe the mediating effect, moderating effect, whatever it is, you briefly explain which method you have used. Then findings you need to discuss That is the analysis. In the analysis, test your hypothesis here. Test means the results you can say. No need to say H1 is accepted, H2 is accepted, but you say this hypothesis like that, this hypothesis accepted. Interpret your results here, what you have identified. Then the significance, that is implication of your research, you need to provide. That is your recommendation. After doing a study, if you cannot provide the recommendation or suggestions for the problem, it is pointless. Why you have done? Clearly cover these 5 boxes in your abstract. Right, I have given these guidelines, but formatting, it is not a problem. I have given the formatting as well, but these are the important things you have to follow, right? As an example, I have written a special field, how to write abstract. Now example, this is my title, impact of debt on economic growth. We write capital, that is caps, centered, Times New Roman, bold, font size 40, right? 40. It depends on the organizers. Then as the context I have written, the existing knowledge. Now from this you can understand clearly. Debt is playing a vital role for the growth of economy because that is the existing knowledge. You can include further. Within this 150, 300 words, you can manage context. Existing knowledge right under the context. And the purpose I have written, this study was intended to evaluate the extent for which debt affect on economic growth in Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan context I am going to study. This is okay. Context is there, playing a vital role for the growth of economy. But in Sri Lankan context, what is the situation I want to test? Therefore, I am having a problem, research problem, whether debt and the others are having long-run association. Or what is the effect of debt, domestic debt, external debt on economic growth? But I cannot understand without doing a study. Therefore, my purpose, there is a problem in Sri Lankan context. What is the situation I want to study? Therefore, I have developed my objectives to study effect of debt on economic growth. Then objective, because research journal article, when you are writing, no need to take more objectives like in dissertation or thesis. Take 1 or 2 objective enough. No need to take much. If you have completed your dissertation, 3 or 4 objectives, you can write 2 or 3 papers. That's why we take that part, you take into that study. The rest of the literature review you take to the another study. Do that. The purpose I have written. Then the methods. The study employed secondary data sources in order to collect data. If you are using the questionnaire, you can say most probably in social and other research, you are doing management studies, then you are using primary data, using questionnaire or interview. That method include. And annual data for 20 years, you can write in the customers or the employees, 250 you have selected, like that, write under the methods. Clearly write in your method, in the abstract. Otherwise you are doing your rest of the part clearly and properly, but your abstract is very weak. Then it is pointless. And include your analysis technique. But analyze technique, correlation and regression. No need to explain much more. No need to explain correlation and regression analysis. You have used all these techniques you can take from the methodology chapter, methodology part. But here abstract clearly explained by using 1 or 2 sentences. Then the findings, this is practically we have done this study. Based on that, I have written this abstract. According to the analysis, debt and economic growth are having long-run association because they are moving in the long run. That association we got. Also, both domestic and external debt, domestic means within the country, external debt outside of the country. There's significant influence on economic growth. That is my finding. Based on that finding, I provide the significance. Significance means the practical implication to whom I provide the government. Government can use for the mechanism as the mechanism, control mechanism. They can use that information. Research can be applied, monetary policy, fiscal policy, like that you provide. You can provide at the end, if you have done a study in ABC organization, this research very much useful for the management. The management should change these factors to increase the retention of employees, like that provide. In the other type of electronic devices, you can provide. Very important for them. So then they can apply this device to increase the productivity or to detect some equipments or some situation correctly, right? Maybe different electronic devices you can introduce. So likewise, write research correctly. Significance, it's all right. Now, I am going to explain, as I mentioned, again, before going to that, follow these 5 when you are writing. Without heading, you can write as a paragraph, no problem. That is abstract. If you include these 5 boxes, that is structured abstract. Sometimes some organizers are explaining that you have to follow normally abstract. Some researchers are saying take structured abstract. So then under these guidelines, taking these 5 headings, write, but the same thing, no difference. Right. After the abstract, you need to follow extended abstract. Why extended abstract? Some people are thinking that extended abstract is the long version of your abstract. It is not the long version of your abstract. Extended abstract is the short version of the paper. Your research paper or the journal article, short version of that. But abstract is the advertisement. That is a summary. Now, short version of the paper, we include in details. In details, we want to include here. But only by reviewing the abstract, sometimes we are unable to take the decision. That's why publishers and the conference organizers say that send extended abstract. In the extended abstract, there may be 4 or 5 pages, but don't exceed more than 5 pages. Sometimes we say previously 4 pages, but now we say 5 pages, including your references. All these, your paper, your extended abstract should be maximum 5 pages, including references. References also, I have given here, don't include more than 15 references. 15 maximum enough. Including that, you have to write your extended abstract. Words count 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000. But previously we said it depends on the studies or the types of the study. We said 800 to 1,000. But 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 words you can use as the extended abstract. Use. Right. If you want to number the page number, if you want to number, so then you can use bottom right. Normally we use bottom right, but according to the APA format, you can say in the thesis or the dissertation, top right. but bottom right you can include. Otherwise, we are not numbering. Normally, we don't number, but if organizers say, take bottom right. Otherwise, if they say, take top right, no need to follow, no need to worry. You can do that because you have done your study. But normally, before starting a research conference or before the publication size started, you can write your paper extended abstract. So then follow these guidelines. After that, small changes, it is very easy to do. It is very easy because you have completed your study within 1 hour. All this page formatting you can do. Right, total number of references don't include more than 15 in your extended abstract. But there may be more. Take important parts from your report. It may be dissertation or thesis. Right, when you are writing extended abstract, we say at the beginning we want to write like in abstract, extended abstract headline, right? In the abstract also headline, you can follow the same guidelines. Time New Roman, 14 font size, bold, all caps, centered. These can be followed. Sometimes this font size may be some organizers 16. So then change that. Or 18, change that because according to their requirement, we want to change and send to that publication. Then when you are writing your author's name, you use like this. The number 1 represents number 1. Right. Which organization? CINEC campus. And include your email as well, that researcher. This part write in italic. Organization information. Author is committed to CINEC campus or University of Colombo, then email, write like that. When you are writing this author's name and the surname, use font size 10. Normally we write 10 font size. Right. Before starting abstract, we have to write these 2. So then you are writing like that. Next one, abstract is there in extended abstract as well. That's why we say abstract of abstract. We need to include, but you can limit your number of words, maximum 200 enough, because you are writing in details in your extended abstract. So then font size 11, bold, all caps, centered. These are the guidelines of writing that. If you are following APA guidelines, you can take all this. So then you write like that. But abstract, that wording, we take into center point in caps. Uppercase we use abstract. In some publishers, they are not worrying about that. Therefore, even though this next characters is starting character, initial character is capital, they accept. But normally we write full capital. Right, 100 words don't use, and words 10 font size in the center. When you are writing the context of your abstract, you are following this guideline. Font size should be 10. Line space 1. Times New Roman. Normally we do justify the abstract. Some researchers are justifying the total paper as well. But according to APA format, it says go for a line. But if the organizers say that you have to justify, do that. But initially, when you are writing, follow these guidelines. Next one is the keywords. Maximum include under your abstract 5 keywords. What are keywords? Most powerful or important words you have used throughout your study. You have to include maximum 5. From that 5 keys, we can identify which field this research belongs. From the keywords, sometimes scholars are identifying that research belongs to their field. So then they are identifying, then that is a plus point for you to get more citation, more and more citation. Because your paper will be cited by another, right? Cited by another. Many publications there, right? Maybe the Justo, Emerald, then is Cooper, so whatever it is, right? A Google Scholar, they are having these journal articles, but your citation is increased, that is a plus point for you. Now, maximum 5 words, we are using font size 10. Each word using semicolon, you have to separate, not the colon, semicolon. Another important points I want to highlight here, sometime when you are writing the title of your research, right? Title you are writing. When you are writing title, they use semicolon. Example, factors influence on employee satisfaction. Semicolon is study of ABC company. But don't use semicolon, they are used colon. And again, at the end of the title, some people, some researchers think full stop. Don't put full stop, no full stop, right? Colon you can use, no full stop. Follow these important points. Right. Now keywords, no problem. Normally we use font size 10. Now introduction. In the introduction part, you are writing the introduction to the study. Then you can discuss briefly your research title as well, because research title we are not going to discuss in abstract. It should be discussed in introduction part. You can say employees retention is a vital factor today because for the smoothly functioning of organization. With regard to GDP, economic growth is very important because we need to determine the sustainability of the economy. So like that, you can take this some point to come to your introduction part. Take the discussion of your research title in the introduction part, not in abstract. Right, title New Romans, 12 font size, bold. Now, all these headings, you can take 12 font size. Normally we do that. Bold font size, right? Font size is 12. Right. Now content means the body of the study. When you are writing in the extended abstract, many things you can include. But normally in abstract, we don't include tables, figures, graphs, we don't include. But here you can do. When you are using all this, you are using font size 11. Normally font size 11, single line space times New Roman, we are using. Now, figures and tables you have to center. In your study, do the center it. Figures heading should be below the figure you want to use. If you want, you can use the reference as well. Reference name and also the year. Tables heading you have to take above the table you want to take. And page formatting, all the sides, left, right, and the bottom. All these 2.5 centimeters mean 1 inch. But sometimes to write, we are taking more than that in the left side. That is why for the compilation of your report, if you are going to make a report, some space is required. That's why we take the left side, maybe increase that, but normally 2.5. Don't use more than 5 pages, as I mentioned before. Write numbering, bottom right if you need. Then materials and methods, discuss more. Rather than the abstract, you can discuss here more. You can provide your conceptual framework as well. You can provide. You can draw briefly that conceptual framework with 2000, 1500, 2000 words. You can manage that and provide your operationalization, how you are going to operationalize your variables, include them, and your population and sample, methods of sample, that is your random sampling technique or non-random sampling technique, discuss them, and include your analytical techniques, that is the materials and methods, include them. The body of this table, always think like this one, 11 font size, and your heading, this Times New Roman, 12 font size bold. If you are using subtitle means under 2, we take another one, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, or 2.31, 2.32, like that you can take subtitle. When you are taking the main, first one is you are using like this, capital. But subtitles take initial letter as capital, but bold, other simple. I have written here, second and third degree of subtitles like this should be written left line, bold, right. Then you can use initial letter as the capital. Others simple. But 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 like that. Otherwise, main one, you can use block capital. If you are having 2 or more paragraphs, between the paragraphs, you have to use one space. One space means one line you have to blank. A blank line should be placed between the paragraphs. Normally we use here 1. I have written here, you can understand, right? Here 1 line, that is the line space is 1. Okay, single line space. So then single line space, you have to keep blank between 2 paragraphs. Another one. Indentation is not required. Indentation. No need to keep, when you are starting your paragraph, no need to keep some space. You can start from the left side. But some researchers are using indentation. If it is, what is your indentation? 1 tab or 5 space. 5 space, so 1 tab if you use, it's okay if you want to keep the indentation. Otherwise, no need, start from the left side. No need indentation. Right, extended abstract also you want to provide your discussion in details you provide. Right, in details you provide, that is your analysis, total results. But don't provide each and every single table. If you want, you can provide them in annex. Important results you have to provide here. Important results. Tables should be numbered. Table 2, table 3, table 4, or figure 1, figure 2, like that you have to provide. Right, I have given like that. Right, for an example, you can see from this. Now see, figure I have used here, figure 1, then write your figure. Which one is this? That presentation, you write the figure header. Figure header should be below the figure. If you use the table, table should be above, should be center. Table 1, table header, it should be here, right? Table header above the table. Now use. Now, if you are using reference for the table, reference should be author, surname, and publication date. This means this should be italic. If you want to provide the reference source of this, you can use author name, surname, and the publication date. Then provide your conclusion. Based on your analysis, you want to provide your recommendation. These are the results. Based on that results, researcher or researchers have taken the decision. These are the important factors influencing on the employee's retention. Like that, according to objectives, you have clearly addressed your objectives. Think that sometime you are having objectives, you have not finally addressed your objectives. If you have not addressed your objectives, you have not taken your decision, then your paper will be rejected. At the beginning, you say the existing knowledge is this is the gap. Based on that, the purpose is this study, your objective. These methods you have used, you analyze by using correct analytical techniques. Then finally, you want to provide your conclusion. Then your objectives should be addressed. Then your research problems should be solved. Otherwise, you have not taken good conclusion. Follow this. So then with 3-4 lines, you can write your conclusion. So then if you need, you can link with the previous studies, your research, your findings, that is your discussion part. With the conclusion, you can take your discussion as well. Then provide that significance. Significance means that is your recommendation, as I mentioned before, providing extended abstract as well. Then references provide, don't exceed more than 15. It means that most important 15 articles, references you can use in your extended abstract. But in your full paper, journal paper, you can include more and more. Here we are writing short version of your full paper. Therefore, include maximum 15. Don't exceed more than that. Right. Finally, I want to explain these references. When you are writing references, you have used in the literature part, introduction, you include brief literature review as well in the extended abstract. Here, when you are taking, you are writing introduction part. So then in the body of this, you take brief literature as well. Right, when you write in the reference list, articles, it may be journals, newspapers, or magazines. So general format is you have to follow right author, comma, initials. If there are more, right now suppose that one author, so then take this year. If more authors, take comma, separate, and other author. Then take the year of publication of that article. It may be journals, newspaper, or magazine. Then write the title of your article. Title means which research you have read, that article name you have to include. Then what is the journal name? That journal name or newspaper name or magazine, which name, it should be italic, including the volume. Then issuing number inside the bracket or parenthesis you write, that is not italic, normal. Then comma, page numbers you need to include. Follow this one. Most probably you are following these. So then reference list also check to accept your research. So the example I have written, Watson, comma, initials, another person, and Pearson, initial, year of publication. What is the title of the study? Serial correlation of time series. What is the name of the publication? That periodical, that is Journal of Finance. This is my volume number, this paper, volume number. This is the issue and page numbers, because journal consists of several articles. Now, electronic version, if you take all these you write, but finally you have to say you are having electronic version. Therefore, write this term. Retrieved from which website? Include that web address. Others are same. You can write. Important example I have given. Same researchers, year of publication, name is same, Journal of Finance. but I am having online, that is the electronic version, where I have taken retrieved from this one, soft copy only. If you are using book edition, general format, author, initials, year of the publication of that book, and name of that work, title of the work, and edition number include, edition within bracket. After that, location, maybe in Sri Lanka, China, Japan, or if you are using another place, right, India, if you take Mumbai, or maybe New Delhi, whatever, that location of that publication you can write and provide the publisher. Follow these guidelines, scholar and the publisher. Now, example, this is a book, most probably we are using in econometrics, right? Analytical techniques, Gujarati, comma, initials, 2004, basic econometrics. This is the edition, 4th edition, where it was published in New Delhi. Who is the publisher? Tata Macro Hill Publishing Company Limited. Like that too. I think that these guidelines, if you are following, you can do your abstract very clearly. Important points I mentioned, these things should not be included in your abstract. These are the things you want to consider when you are writing. Follow those 5 boxes to write your paper. And the guidelines means page formatting, font size, bold, all these I have included. You can follow them. And then precisely write, take 2-3 days to write your research abstract precisely. Right, that's what I want to mention. Right, we can finish. Right, if you have any questions, we can discuss. I think if you follow these guidelines, you can do properly. Right, thank you very much, all of you.
Okay, participants. Thank you very much, Dr. Atapattu. And if you have any clarifications, if you have any questions, I think you can raise. So we can give the time for a few questions if you are having. Okay, then thank you very much, Dr. Atapattu. That's a very comprehensive and highly academic oriented discussions on abstract. So you have nicely explained for all participants how that you have to structure abstract based on your academic study that you have been done for a number of months, maybe a number of years. At the end of the day, it should be very attractive. At the same time, right, as Dr. Atapattu explained, starting with the research problem up to the conclusion, it should be nicely structured in a way that the reader can easily grasp whatever the findings that you have been found through this study, and ending up with some keywords. Not only abstract, sir, you have covered the extended abstract as well. So it's a very comprehensive and academic oriented discussions that we have been done in this evening. So that's the end of our webinar number 1. I would like to thank our CINEC Student Research Symposium Committee chairpersons Dr. Rashini as well as co-chair Mr. Viranga and entire team for their endless support, and also Mr. Sudesh for nice technical guidelines, and also for all our participants for attending these sessions. I'm sure it is really a good, at the same time, very comprehensive lesson for you all about writing abstracts. And just remind you regarding the next workshop, we are meeting again on 9th August, 4 to 5. That is our next webinar. Our topic is towards a successful career, building your profile. Therefore, please join us on 9th August at 4 p.m. towards a successful career, building your profile. So, thank you very much for you all. Have a nice day and stay safe. Thank you very much.